Hi guys, it is I'm sorry I'm posting a bit late this week, but there's been a lot to do with the preparations for the trip to Philly, so I wasn't able to upload earlier this week, and I'm going to try to do this in one take, so I might be a mess, sort of all over the place, but we'll try. I'm sort of sorry that I can't really put more effort into this video, because this is a serious topic and I made a script and everything, but screw it, I'm just gonna talk. I'm sure that most of us share the same opinions on this bathroom bill thing, and yeah, it is horrible, and it seems unreal that it's a thing that happens now. Like, it's 2016, like, come on, this should not be happening now, but it is, which is horrible. And I mean, there are so many things to say, and bottom line is, I think these bills all come from transphobia, obviously, which come from ignorance, from hatred, prejudice that comes from ignorance, which is kept up by an unwillingness to learn, really, because this really is the age of information. Like, learning is so easy, and it's not like there aren't trans people out there willing to educate about trans issues. Like, yeah. So I feel like it's sort of pointless to argue, but it can still be done. So, well, first of all, these people who are for the bathroom bill, for, trans people not being able to use the bathroom that is not the bathroom of the sex that they were assigned at birth, they're saying that it's to prevent men in dresses from going into the women's bathroom. And first of all, if that's your aim, then you can't use the word transgender to describe these people, because a transgender person is not a man in a dress. Well, unless it's a trans man in a dress, but a trans woman is not a man in a dress. She's a woman who happens to be trans. And being trans is not just putting on a different style of clothing. It is changing your name for most people, but generally it's changing your name, getting surgeries, getting hormones and stuff like that. Not for everyone, again, but it's a very common thing. And lots of people get thrown out of their families, they lose friends, they lose their jobs, they lose their financial security, they some people have trouble getting into school because they're trans, and some people are forced into jobs they don't want to have. Like, a lot of trans women are forced into sex work to survive or to pay for their transition. And I'm not saying that sex work is inherently a bad thing, but if you're doing it because you have to and not because you want to, then it can be a very, very destructive thing. And obviously it can lead to things like drug abuse and lots of horrible things. And they say that this bathroom bill is to protect children, but they don't think about the fact that a lot of trans people are children who are going to be affected by this bill. So it's like, it doesn't make sense. And I understand absolutely the need to protect children from people who will sexually assault them, because I was sexually assaulted by a stranger as a child, not in a bathroom, but in a public place. And so I definitely understand the need to protect children, but this is not the way to do it. Because, first of all, if you're so afraid that your child is going to get sexually assaulted in a bathroom, go with them into the bathroom, And as far as I know, there have been no reported cases of trans people sexually assaulting someone in a bathroom. We are not the threat. We are threatened. We risk being abused or even murdered going into whichever bathroom. But I mean, I'm not talking about trans people who pass 100%. They are still at a risk, but trans people who don't pass 100%, especially trans women, are at a risk going into both the men's and the women's bathroom, but especially the men's bathroom. Trans people have to be able to go into the bathroom where they blend in the most with the other people that are in there to protect them. If you're so concerned about the welfare of people and of children, you have to be concerned about the welfare of transgender people and transgender children as well, because we are at a risk. You can see trans people have been murdered and abused and hurt all the time by cis people for no other reason than that we're trans. So, I mean, if you want to protect people, I think you should take a look at protecting trans people as well. And as I said, being trans is not just about changing your style of clothing. It's a lot of things that you do, and you risk losing friends and family, financial security, losing your job. You risk so many things because you don't transition to sexually assault someone. You don't transition because it's just a fun thing that you want to do. You transition because you need to do it to survive, to feel like life is worth living. That's why we transition. And so it's just disrespectful, really, really disrespectful, and I feel like it's literally stripping us of our human rights and of our dignity as people to force us to go into a bathroom that we clearly do not belong in. And these people seem to think that they can spot a trans person wherever they see them. That is not true. Like, for every person that you clock as trans, you're probably wrong, like, 50% of the time. And for each person that you even manage to clock, whether that be correctly or not, you have probably seen like 10 trans people that you didn't even look twice at, because we're normal people and we look like normal people. And one more thing, these laws don't only affect trans people, they affect cis people too. I mean, I've seen that there was a cis woman who was confronted in the women's bathroom because she like had short hair or something, and somebody thought that she was trans. It's ridiculous. And I mean, it's horrible. And like, how are you even, like, you can't tell the difference between trans and cis people by just looking at them. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna like strip people down and look at their genitals? And also, like, for those who have had genital surgery, are you going to force people to shave their underwear, their you know, downstairs parts, their genitals, in order to like examine them and look for scars? That means that cis people are gonna have to have like genital examinations, and if anyone has a scar down there, well, they're gonna be a suspect. I mean, what? It is not realistic. It's disrespectful. It is just. This is not the way to do things, and I cannot believe that politicians in 2016 are endorsing these things. I just cannot, because it is not realistic or practical in any way, shape, or form. I can see that. I can see that clear as day. Thousands of people in this world, countless people in this world can see that clear as day, and yet, I mean, it's just transphobia. That's what it is. So, I really don't know what else to say. It is transphobia, and it's a much deeper issue than just this bathroom bill. And we just have to keep fighting. We just have to keep being, you know, engaged in activism. We just have to keep pushing for change and for people to respect us. And eventually it will happen, but it is horrible that these things are still popping up against us. It's inhumane. It's completely inhumane. And that's all I have to say about that, I guess. Yeah. This was a rant. And I will see you next week. Love you. Bye.